All right, and we're back to On to the Next Project. I'm your host, Adam Krutinger.
And I'm Brian Miller.
Yeah, and now it's my week again. We told you guys last time for my episode that I was going to update you on the camp puppet stuff. Took off, sold out real quick, which is really cool. But now now I'm building all the kits. So that's where I am now. I finally have all the stuff to do them. But the thing I'm just did today, which I'm proud of, is I finally have a PO box for Krutinger puppets.
Yay!
I
I
feel like
couldn't
an adult.
believe when you messaged me and you were like, "Hey, do you have a PO box?" And I was like, "Yeah, how do you not? I've had a PO box forever. How do you not have a PO box? How have you not had a PO box?"
I've just dodged it. I just anytime it's something needed public information, I probably wasn't. I just want to protect, like my address being out as a quote unquote YouTuber, because I know weird things happen, right? So I just put in random numbers for the address. But then I was talking to someone and was like, that's probably not. That might not be legal. I was like, oh, why would I mean, like legally I have to make my dress available to people? Yeah, that's why there's PO boxes. Oh, okay, but that's still
Yeah,
not the same. It's just a way of contact, I guess. So where because still can't quite. It's not like they can go to the PO box and I'm going to be there. you know.
yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, I've had a PO box forever for exactly those reasons, so that on all of my contracts over the years when I was a magician, it had a PO box, so that and I got really crazy about it after the TEDx went viral, where all of a sudden there were millions of people who knew who I was. I was like, oh boy, and not so much for my own safety, but it was like, a wife and family and stuff. And I don't want people to be able to like look up my name and find my home address.
yeah.
So yeah, no. And it's also great too, because when I'm working with a company or a collaboration, I always give them my PO box so that they officially send products or whatever they're going to send me to a business box, and it just stays there and I don't have to deal with it until I want to, and I can go and get it and pick it up.
Yeah, no, it's super nice, and that's kind of doing this camp is what made me kind of have to bite the bullet. 'Cause I figure I'm mailing out all these kits to random people all over the country, and I have to have a return address. So I'm like, what am I gonna do? I could just put like something else, but I was like, I'm just gonna do it now, and I just did it, and it's exciting. It's exciting, and I was a step closer to actually creating a business, which I should probably do. I should probably get an LLC and stuff. Um,
Maybe. You need to talk to somebody about that. I mean, I'm still not an LLC after all these years in business, and you really got to ask an accountant or a CPA or a lawyer. There's lots of different people you can ask. And they'll tell you based on, like, there's all kinds of things. How much you make per year, if you work in different states or only ever in one state, if you're working online versus in person. There's all these different
mm.
things that you have to worry about. But I am still a sole proprietor, which on one hand makes my life really easy, because it costs you have to pay every year a flat fee to be an LLC, and then you have all these other things. I don't pay any additional fees. And my taxes are basically just my taxes. There's no business apart from, I have a doing business as, right, a DBA, which is
Yeah.
still Brian Miller Magic. Like, legally, my business has just always been Brian Miller Magic. And it's within Brian Miller Magic that I run a speaking business and do audio courses and all this
Mm.
stuff.
Yeah.
But effectively, if somebody wanted to sue me, I have no protection against my personal assets. As far as anybody's concerned, they could sue me as a magician or as a speaker, and my house is on the table because I don't have even a limited liability like an LLC. Um, but yeah, even at what I'm doing on the scale I'm doing it at, an LLC doesn't make sense according to my accountant. So you
Yeah,
gotta
that's what
you
I was
gotta
because
check
someone
with
else
somebody.
recommended me that I should, and they're like, "You're crazy that you don't, because what if you get sued or something?" I'm like, "God, I really please, if you're listening to this, please don't ever sue me. There's no reason to.
Right.
I've got nothing you want. I've got nothing
That's
you want. It's not gonna help anything. Just
That's what I'm saying is, I'm like every time somebody says, "Well, you could get sued," I go, "You're right, I could." And I gotta tell you, I've done fine for myself, but it's not worth suing me over. Honestly, like, you want my wife's student loans, you can have them.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah." So yeah, you're right. I'll talk to. What's hard is because everyone's got different recommendations. Like because back when I was doing magic, I did get a DBA, which I don't. I guess technically I still have it. I don't know if I
Yeah,
defunct it. But yeah, it
DBA
was
is kind
Adam
of fake.
Michael. It was Adam Michael magic, right? Yeah, but
Adam Michael Magic.
I know
Yes.
that's a throwback, right?
I found one of your old business cards when I was moving last year. Do you remember I sent you a photo of it? I
Oh
found with
yeah, you
the
did. Yeah.
light blue, the sky blue card.
Clouds. Yeah. Oh yeah. That was
Remember,
legit, man.
we used to use what, like GeoCities to make websites and stuff. We were on the cutting edge, man. We had websites when even proper businesses didn't have websites.
I know, yeah, and I finally, I think what was a year ago, I took the magician tag off my website. The tab, I was just like, because people were actually trying to hire me. I was like, I don't want to actually do it, but I kind of liked it there as just kind of like a portfolio of things that I've done. But then I just took it down. I was like, no, I'm done with that. But yeah. But anyway, as far as the kits and stuff are concerned, it's coming together great. I put together a whole bunch of them. I ordered more fur. I've got to sew up some more snoofs. Because I had that's one thing we didn't say to them is the first session the session sold out in like 6 hours, so I added a second session because a lot of people were like disappointed that it sold out before they even found out about it. So just to kind of keep it something available for them, because that is frustrating. Because like even if like because I launched it kind of late at night. I did it at like 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on a Tuesday. So yeah, I understand some people not finding it till the next morning where it was already gone. So that would be a little bit frustrating.
What a problem to have, though. I mean, you were so worried that no one was gonna say. You're like, what if nobody signs up? Because like
Yeah.
we when we were doing mindset episodes, we've talked about imposter syndrome and stuff, and it can hit anybody at any time. Like no matter how successful you've been in the past, no matter how successful you are right now, everybody launching a new project feels like that. It's really like at to the top level. Like think of the biggest celebrity, Lady Gaga, whoever you can think of. Next time she comes out with an album, I guarantee you she's sitting there somewhere going, I wonder if anybody's gonna like this. Right? It's
Yeah.
just it always happens. So you were worried that nobody would buy it. It sold out in I mean, within 12 hours, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it sold out. Yeah, like yeah, really, really quick. So I probably didn't charge enough. So, and then the thing is too, some of the comments are like, it's a little bit expensive. I'm like, honey, this is probably the cheapest you're ever gonna get it. So get it while the getting's good. So, but yeah, I don't want to gouge it. I'll
But
probably
but
have to
and
raise it a little bit next
But
year.
that's true. We did an episode on pricing, and no matter what you price it at, some people are going to think it's too expensive, and there's going to be plenty of people who didn't even pay attention to it because it was not expensive enough. There are going to be people who walked right on by and said it's only $300. That can't be good enough, right? Maybe they have a totally different mindset. So pricing is it's a story. We've talked
Yeah.
about that,
Yeah.
and
And also part of my price point there too is because again, part of my biggest hesitation in launching this when I did is it was a little bit late in the game to start a camp. Typically you try to sell something like that. Camps go on sale in May, and this was July, first week, second week of July. So that was a big part of me cutting the price a little bit because they only had a 2-week window to even sell these. Again, they sold out in 12 hours, but I was thinking I might not even get people that fast. So I want to get incentivize it a little bit. And again, first time at the rodeo. So
yeah, and there's nothing wrong with slightly undercharging or whatever the first time, and because
that's how you
demand
figure it
really.
out.
Yeah, exactly. And you found out a whole lot of things. One, there's a huge demand for this, so much so that you sold out a second session within the next 24 hours. So huge demand. And on top of that, there's a huge demand of people willing to pay that price. And if they were willing to pay that price that quickly without hesitation, they would have been willing to pay the full price for sure. And if you're going to keep this exclusive, that's what happens, right? Is that you probably over time will play with the price a little bit and bump it. And if at some point you hit a price and it doesn't sell out within 12 hours and you start to get people reaching out, say, hey, I really want to do this, it's a little bit much, then all of a sudden you found right that you hit it, you found the spot, and then you back off a
Oh
little
yeah,
bit.
yeah. No, absolutely, yeah. Because it's only 16 kids in it anyway. So I mean, that's part of the pricing as well because it is kind of exclusive. I could charge less if I had 50 kids in there, but the experience probably wouldn't be as good for either of us. But yeah,
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 well,
no,
that that's the funny thing is that there are people that are just like, they think, oh man, I wish, why can't you make this more affordable? And the answer to that is you do. It's your YouTube channel. There's hundreds of videos and they're free.
oh yeah, oh exactly, yeah. What's more affordable? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, exactly. That's exactly right. No, that's a good point.
Right?
That is the point. That's
Yeah.
the point. Yeah,
That's, if you want personalized real-time interaction, that's a whole different conversation. And there's nothing wrong with different prices for different kinds of things.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, and just to tie back into something we talked about for my first episode with this, when I was talking about what kind of platform I wanted to sell these through, we were looking at Acuity and Jotform as the main two choices. I did end up going through I'm sorry, Acuity, which I'm glad it worked out really well for me. It looks a little goofy because there's 5 sessions. It looks like I thought it kind of looked a little strange on the website, but people figured it out. Wasn't a problem. I think Jotform would have looked nicer, but again, one of my big hesitations with Jotform was like because of the view count. It only lets you have like 10,000 views. Okay, right?
mm.
And then it would like vanish or something. I don't know what it did, but then in looking at the data on this too, I was able to monitor how many visits there were to my website. So there was only like a little over 1,000 visits to the website by the time from launch to it being sold out. So that was some interesting data on that end too, whereas Jotform totally would have worked for me if I did that, but no regrets.
So that is making me think of a couple of things. One, Acuity is I'm increasingly relying on Acuity. It's a lifesaver. Somebody else that we both know, which I won't shout out here, but somebody else we both know, we just talked to about Acuity the other day, signed up and sent me a message and was like, "This solved all of my problems in my life. Just got so
Oh,
much
did he?
easier."
Oh, good. I'm
Oh
glad to
yeah,
hear that.
he was like, and that was your suggestion. I hadn't even thought you had mentioned it, even though I was the one that turned you on to it. So I'm thrilled that you did that. And he wrote to me like over the moon, like this is it. This is the answer. So good for Acuity. Acuity, you can sponsor our podcast at some point if you'd like to. And then also that made me realize you got 1,000 people that went to your website and 16 signed up and then 16 more. So effectively none of the 1,000 people that went there signed up. What happened?
Nothing.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were saying that you couldn't hear me or something.
No, I just scratched my.
Um, oh, the reason I couldn't tell is because with the view that switches back and forth, when I'm talking, I see me instead of you. So anyway, so with 1,000 people going to the site and only effectively 32 of them signed up for both sessions, that's basically nobody, right? So almost everybody who went there didn't sign up. Now, what you did there, though, and this is you're just doing this for the first time, but something to think about for the future. You left a huge amount of business on the table, a huge amount of money on the table, and a huge amount of benefit to your audience on the table by not having a cheaper passive course, an online course there sitting on the same place for all those people that went there and went, you know what, $300-$400 is too much, can't do it. But there's a 50, 60, $80 online course where Adam teaches all this stuff. It's not an interactive, right? So, okay, I can't afford the thing I wanted, but there's this other thing that is more affordable and would also benefit me or whatever. And you could have maybe captured 100 of those people might have paid 50, 60, $80 for that course if it were sitting there. And that's your next step.
Yeah, definitely. And I have plans for that too. I really want to make sure it's done the right way for something like that because the biggest I think a big part of the what created value in this camp is the fact that I'm putting together these beautiful looking kits. Okay, but that would obviously be something that wouldn't come with these video courses, pre-recorded ones that you're talking about. So I would want to still have something that could potentially um have something physical with it in some way. So I'm looking at ways of doing that with some drop shipping things.
Yeah, you'd need to do drop shipping, and you'd need to scale it back so that it was much cheaper to do the drop shipping, or have the option. You could basically have it's like $50 for the course, and then you get a list of materials and links to buy them for yourself, or $50 plus an additional $30, and you get the package drop shipped to you with the branding on it. That you could add it as at the
Yeah, I
checkout
was
kind of a
actually
thing.
thinking about going along that line of the links, like you were saying, but rather than just have a link for each thing, I was gonna create like a link to a shopping cart that they can just check out on
Yeah,
Amazon or something.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly the right way to do it. So I'm still, I feel like it's so easy to understate right now how incredible this success is, how quickly it was. Do you have any, I mean, to what do you owe that? I mean, that's like a dream for entrepreneurs, to have a product launch or a service launch and have it just literally sell out and then sell out again in 2 days. You read about those stories. I know I'm making this a big deal, but like it is a big deal.
Yeah, it's I'm pretty humbled by it for two reasons though, because it is a big deal and it was very exciting, but then the reality is it's the 16 spaces, you know. Again, even though I was very nervous about selling those 16 spaces, like saying, I mean, it's a lot of companies do this and a lot of other places do it too. Like even I actually heard someone talk about this with a makeup platform before too. Is like, oh, we sold out of all of our makeup kits. Yeah, but you only had a very small quantity that you did, so that you did that on purpose so that you could say you could sell out. Now that's not why I did it, because I knew I wanted to manage only a certain amount of kids. Again, I'm very excited. I'm very proud that it sold out and stuff. But even like you said, from those numbers, 1,000 people went there and only 32 bought at that point. But then again, sometimes people like that's the first time it was offered too. So they're still figuring out what it is. Next year when I come out with this again, I'll be using footage from the actual camp, because I didn't have. I mean, all the promo stuff that I made was just me making kits, and I even used a little bit of what's it called,
Story
block
blocks? Yeah,
story
yeah, yeah.
blocks of a kid
Yeah.
and a laptop. Because
No,
obviously I'd love to have a little videos of the kids like doing their puppets and stuff, but I just didn't have it. But I should have that for next year. So
well, yeah, exactly. You'll get to, I mean, this, the success of this, what's amazing is it's always the hardest the first time, right? Everything always gets easier because once you've done it once, you get testimonials, you get proof of concept, you get more confident in your own, just in your own ability to pitch it because you know it works because it's worked before. And there's so much, and it's just like it's the first time. It's always that catch 22 of like when I'll have aspiring motivational speakers or whatever, and they'll say, well, how do I get booked in my first speech? Like to give my first speech, everyone wants a promo video, but I can't get a promo video until I've done a speech. But they want a promo video to get my first speech to get right. It's this circular thing. You go, you just have to sell it on personality the first time. You have to go to someone and
yeah.
say, I've never done this before. Trust me anyway. You know?
Yeah, yeah. No, that's exactly right. And yeah, and I'll have a lot less because even though it did well too, I had quite a bit of expense in setting this up for the first time too. With is all these boxes are hand stamped, so I bought all these stamps, which was quite expensive. It was like $300 for the stamps. But again, next year I have those stamps already, so it's a one-time expense. I just bought a vacuum, no, not a vacuum form. I'm sorry, a shrink wrap machine once the kits are done, they'll look really slick. I didn't want to put the stamps on the box. I thought the kids might like them, so I bought a shrink wrap machine to shrink wrap it nicely so it doesn't get wrecked in shipping as easily. But that was like $250 as well, and I'll have to do refills with the plastic. So and also too, because this is the first time putting all these kits together, I didn't order stuff in too much bulk. I only needed 16 initially, but if I know that I'll be offering this, at least once a year for virtually the rest of my life, maybe next year it'll be cheaper to buy 100 hot glue
Yeah.
guns at a time. And
Yeah.
then even though I only use, 30 of them, I'll have some ready for the next year. And then it'll just, you know,
Well,
Fun.
that was when I did my book launch for Three New People. I had never done a book before, and so I had done the pre-sale for folks who wanted a signed copy with all the bonuses and wristbands. And I think I'm actually wearing one right now, which is silly because I don't leave the house anymore. Um, and and so originally I had to purchase for all the people that pre-ordered a signed copy with all that bonus stuff. I had to order the mailing, like the bubble envelopes and the wrapping, what do you call it? It's like brown wrapping paper to wrap the book in so that it was protected, and then little Ziploc bags because I wanted it to look. I could have just thrown it all in a box, but I wanted it to look nice and clean and sleek. And so the upstart cost the first time was. I was like, oh my God, I'm spending all this money. I'm not even going to make anything from the people who bought this. But now it's been 2 years, and because I bought them in bulk the first time, I was pretty sure I was buying the right stuff the first time, so I just bought it in bulk, and I got lucky that I bought all the right stuff because I've done what you did before. I've bought the wrong stuff in bulk before, and then you go, oh crap, I wasted all this money, got all this stuff, got nothing to do with it. So I got it right the first time, which means 2 years later, just a couple weeks ago, I ran out for the first time of the stuff I bought, which means ever since that first expense, I've had no more additional expenses, which means psychologically I haven't had to keep putting my credit card down for more
Yeah.
supplies, which has been great. So you'll get the hang of that, and you'll get better at the economy of putting the packages together and making it go faster too.
Oh yeah, yeah. It'll be. Yeah, I'm not gonna be too worried about it. I'm thinking about even for the holiday putting together like maybe 5 or 10 boxes and throwing them on eBay just so people can give them as like a gift or something, something like that. That won't come with the class or anything, but just a lot of people did want just the kit, but I can't sit here and make kits all day. But thinking maybe for the holiday or something that could be a fun little thing
You know
treat.
what's what I'm going to pitch this. And this is kind of a hybrid of what we just talked about a little while ago. For that, I would make, like last week or last time or whatever it is, I was talking about the accelerator course for the podcast, which was like a really, really short, mini little online course that did not take me long to film because it was just an hour's worth of footage cut up into 5 or 6 lessons, 7 lessons. You could do something similar and it would take you a couple of hours, film it in one go, cut it up, and just make the video lessons that's little course that comes with the kit itself. So they get the on instruction. They're used to seeing you on camera. They know what it looks like to get instruction from you, but it's not the hands-on, and they don't just have to read it from a book. That might be a way to
Yeah,
do
and
it.
actually, I already filmed it. So yeah, and part of my promo, I filmed me putting a whole kit together. So
You did that just
I
for the
didn't,
promo?
I didn't even need it. I didn't even. I ordered some custom graphics for the camp puppet. They got delivered this morning. I just got them. I was like, all right, I guess I'll use it for next year. It's like, because yeah, I sent it in, and then I woke up in the morning, it was sold out. I was like, I can never use these graphics. Or, I mean, not never, of course, but not for this round. So whatever. It's good. Again, a
That
good problem to have, but it was
that's
funny.
funny. That's funny. So let's bring this in. So what's the next step for you with this project? Because are you really on to the next project, or are you really need to do it, right? You need to run the camp.
Yeah, that's the next big thing, and I'm not worried about it at all. But I do have to just do the camp, and I think kids are gonna really, really like it. And I just, I mean, that'll be the true test of how I feel about it afterward. Like, did I feel like something extra was delivered through this camp that they weren't getting through the YouTube channel? Some more personal feedback that I can give, and just making sure that it was worth it for them and for me, because that's always the hard thing about doing something the first time. Next year those kids will really have it good because I'll have a better idea of what I'm getting into. But this time, it's again, that's why it's a little bit cheaper this year too, that we're going to kind of be exploring it together, but I've planned it enough that it's going to be a good time.
And effectively, without even realizing it, what you did is a very common practice, which is for the first time you're doing a project, or for me when I do new workshops or coaching sessions or whatever, is you effectively gave a beta testing price, which is you're the price you're paying is lower than it's going to be because you're getting a version of this that I'm still working out. You're paying to be a part of helping me figure out how to run this camp. And so for that, you're getting a discount. And that's a very, very common strategy, especially for workshops and things like
Oh yeah.
that. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Well, I'd love to hear what does people think about this, or if they have any other projects that they're trying to get off that are maybe similar, you know, or I would imagine most other people who would do something similar to this, it'd be more like a webinar for adults, perhaps, and kind of like things that you do.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I'm so stoked. Like, congratulations. Honestly, I know I've said that to you privately, but like publicly, like congratulations on the success. It's just like more than you could have ever hoped for the first time of this.
Well, thanks so much. And with that said, I think we're on to the
On to the
next.
next project.